Welcome to Secure Girl Podcast. I am your host, Kim Velez, a licensed mental health therapist and a conscious life and success coach. And I am absolutely obsessed with helping amazing women like you to never ever have to settle for less than she deserves and to never ever feel unloved or not good enough again. This is literally my mission on the planet Earth. So Secure Girl Podcast is about the real deal of how to become the best version of you. I cover all spiritual and practical techniques to help you overcome your mindset, beliefs, and habits that are stopping you from getting everything you want. On Secure Girl Podcast, we are talking about the real truth, ladies. This is not a place to run and hide. This is a place to really understand and have the hard conversations of what it takes to really manifest and love yourself and get the life that you want. So each week I deliver love and truth bombs of everything you need to know, including mindset, self-love, and manifestations, so that you can blossom into the confident, amazing, successful, loved, empowered, unstoppable, and absolute best secure girl version of you. And I am your host, Kim Velez, and just a disclaimer, I do tend to swear. So if that offends you, then I highly suggest that you click off now. If it doesn't offend you, then great, my loves. Just make sure if you have little ones around that you have some headphones on so that they don't hear it. So this is episode 1, You Are Good Enough. And we're going to talk a lot about developing this fundamental belief that you are good enough to have everything your heart desires. So part of the issue with women in not getting what they want in life is that they don't believe they're good enough to have it. They put limitations on themselves. They put restrictions on themselves. They really struggle with changing their concept of self and really understanding their worth and value. Now, some of us may really excel in career. We may excel in school, but we really struggle in love. Some of us are struggling in all areas of our life, or some of us are, killing it in the love department, but we struggle when it comes to making money and, career. So part of this process is, getting reconnected with you, right? Because if you don't believe you're good enough, then that is going to sabotage and rule all your decisions and your actions. So when we look at people who struggle with this, and I've seen this working with clients since 2010, that even though they come in and they say, Kim, I want this thing in my life so much, and I've been wanting it for a long time. And then I say, okay, so why haven't you manifested it, right? Why hasn't it come into fruition? And then usually people will go down a long laundry list of all the excuses like, well, I had a kid, so I just kind of put it on the back burner. Or, you know what, I worked too much and I was just tired when I came home that I just forgot about it and never focused on it. Or, there's just not enough time in the day to get everything done. Or I just felt lost and didn't know when to start. And the list goes on. And I'm not saying that those aren't legit or valid reasons, but when it comes down to it, they're simply just excuses because they weren't a priority for you to focus on what it is that you want, right? You didn't make a decision to say, this is important to me. I want to focus on this. I'm going to fit this in no matter what. And the fundamental underlying issue with every single person that I have come across in my line of work and in my own personal life is that I didn't believe I was good enough to have it. And some of us, it's masked in fear. Some of us, it's masked in rejection. Some of us, it's masked in, that it's just too hard to do and I'm overwhelmed trying to figure it out. And again, those are just excuses. Those are the logical reasons or the acceptable reasons that we tell ourselves to trick ourselves into that, you're not going to get this, so here's the reasons why, so you don't feel that badly. So let's look at this, right? Because this is really important, because the minute you decide to say, you know what, I do believe that I'm actually good enough. I do believe that I'm worthy enough to have this kind of love in my life. I do believe I'm worthy enough to live in that beach house on the condo. I do believe I'm worthy enough to go out and help people and connect to my purpose in life. I do believe I'm good enough to be a healthier weight that feels good for me. Whatever it is that you want, when you make the decision to say, this is what I'm choosing to believe, then all the work is, if it's work, is simply convincing yourself that this is your new identity. So even though we've had this identity for so long in our life that I'm not good enough to have this, it doesn't mean it's going to take us the same amount of time that we develop that. It's not going to take us the same amount of time to get rid of it and replace it. That's the beauty of all of this. For relationships I had, they cheated on me, or they lied to me, or they left me, or they just didn't want me. I'm not good enough. Or, see, I never get the raise at my job. I can't ever make more than, $15 an hour or $80,000 a year, whatever your marker is. And you come up with the excuses and reasons and the evidence to prove, well, it's because I'm not educated, or it's because, I can't work hard, or because I don't know this certain skill set, or because they like Sally in the office better than me, or because I'm not pretty, or because, they don't like me. Like, we just come up with so many excuses to prove to ourselves why we're not going to be able to get what we want. And again, it just comes down to, I'm not good enough, and I'm scared, because if I'm not good enough, then that means I can't have this. So I'm not even going to let myself go for it. Or if I do go for it, I'm going to half-ass it in some way because I know I'm not going to get it anyways. A lot of women do that in love. A lot of women will settle in relationships. They'll date partners who mistreat them, don't value them. The women end up chasing love, and they really don't feel good enough, and it shows. And then they get mad, right? Because they want their partner to show them like, hey, you matter to me. Hey, I care about you. Hey, you're good enough for me. But let me ask you a really fucking blunt, direct question, my love. If you don't feel good enough for yourself, if you don't feel good enough about who you are in this beautiful world, then how do you think someone else is going to feel about you? Will they see your worth if you don't see your worth? Will they see your value if you don't see your value? Will they value you if you don't value yourself? So I want you to think about that, because this is where a lot of women get tripped up and a lot of women fool themselves. And remember, I'm a truth bomb, love bomb dropper, right? I'm going to share with you the real deal about taking the hard look at ourselves. This is what I had to do to transform myself and break a lot of negative patterns in my life that kept me stuck in really unhealthy relationships where I was totally settling. I accepted behavior and crumbs. I was chasing love, and I had failed relationship after relationship. It also sabotaged me in other areas of my life, such as my weight. I would go back and forth. I also really struggled with finding my purpose and, moving towards the goals that I wanted. Now, I personally was successful when it came to school, and I've always been a go-getter in the sense of, all right, I used to be an accountant. And then when I decided, oh, this is not what I'm meant to do, I went back to college. I got my master's degree. I became a therapist. I found an amazing job doing therapy, but I was burnt out. I was in a hostile work environment. And after 5 years, I was literally banging my head against the wall, and I was miserable, and I was making a lot of money, well over 6 figures. And I was so miserable. My relationships were awful with the men that I dated. I was not taking care of my health, where my weight was going up and down by, easy 20, 30 pounds. And I was like, something has got to give. My physical health was taking a toll. I had shingles twice in 3 years, which was unheard of by the doctors for someone at my age. I was in my 30s, and they were like, this is unheard of. They told me that the first time, and then they reaffirmed it the second time. And basically, it was my body telling me enough, that you have way too much negative energy. I had so much anxiety. I used to have panic attacks. Like, it was awful. I had to get my shit together, and I had to have these hard conversations with myself. And all of this stemmed from, I didn't feel good enough, and I kept chasing something outside of me, whether it was a relationship, something to make me feel like I mattered, to make someone make me feel that I was good enough. And so once I had my breakthrough, I understood that I was giving up my power. And I understood that I have to start treating myself as if I am good enough and start believing that I actually am. And that was the light bulb moment for me that was life changing and so powerful and transformative. And I have changed my life dramatically since then. And I won't get into everything in this episode, but I will share a few ways it's changed. One is I am in the best shape of my life. I have been for over 5 years now. I don't yo-yo diet. I don't even fluctuate in my weight. I just live a very healthy lifestyle. I'm in the gym regularly and it feels amazing. I've never I've never had shingles again. I take very good care of my health. I don't have panic attacks. I barely have anxiety. It's still there sometimes, but I manage it. It doesn't manage me. And the best and most outcome is, besides quitting the job, the 9 to 5, opening my own business. This is my second business now, helping millions of women all over the world. That's my goal. I help thousands now. I'm moving to the millions. I am in love with myself. I have a love affair with myself. I know I matter. I know my worth, and it shows in my life. And my money flourishes, my friendships flourish, and I don't attach myself to certain outcomes, and I don't emotionally suffer. So I'll get into that more in episodes and dive in deeper in each one of those categories and help walk you through how to shift energetically and emotionally and master your mind and thoughts so that you can start moving towards the life that you want. But in this one, I really want to drive the point home for episode 1 about how you have to make the decision that you are good enough, that it's time to have the honest conversation with yourself, how you are letting yourself down, how you are selling yourself short. We have one life, my loves, one life. And I want you to start understanding how precious your life is, that you are here for a reason, that even if you've been hurt, even if it feels like people don't have your back, I need you to start having your back, because the minute you start having your back, everything else follows. That's the power of the energy. We have to be what it is that we seek, and then you're always getting what exactly you wanted, because now you don't need it. It's such a conundrum, right? It's such a mind fuck in a way, where it's like, oh, it would be so easy if people would just do what I want them to do so that I feel good. And I get that. And you'll get more of that. But you won't be hung up on needing that validation and that reassurance from people in your life. You won't need those accolades. You won't need the certain amount of money in your bank account so that you feel worthy enough, you feel successful enough. You will start feeling that the minute you decide that you're going to love yourself, value yourself, you're going to think better about yourself, you're going to talk better to yourself, you're going to feel better about yourself, and you're going to treat yourself better in your daily actions, in your, choices and decisions you make. So just think about this. This is the foundational belief that is needed in order to have everything your heart desires in your life, to manifest and cultivate the life of your dreams. It all starts within you. You are the power. You are the key. You, my love, are the answer. You are the one who gets to decide how good enough she wants to be, right? On a scale of 1 to 100, with 100 being, oh my gosh, the most amazing, good enough that there is in the whole world, if that even makes sense. That is where I'm at. And I'm not saying you have to jump there right now, but I want you to start today to really have an honest conversation with yourself, and not in a way to beat you up, right? I don't want you to beat yourself up. I just want you to observe your choices and where your life is right now. And if there's something going on in your life that is not, aligned with you, that doesn't feel good, whether it's love, your career, your living situation, I don't know, it could be anything. Have that honest conversation with yourself and ask yourself, do I believe I'm good enough to have what I want in this area? Am I expecting this area of my life to prove to me first that I'm good enough so that I can have it? Am I giving up my power to something or someone outside of me? Do I believe that I can have what I want? And really think about this, and maybe start journaling. Some things you can really do is start journaling. Like, here's where my life is right now. Here's what I would like to change in my life, and prioritize it. What's the most important? Maybe your health is going to rank first before your relationship, right? So then rank which is more important for you right now so you don't feel super overwhelmed, unless you're someone who's ready to just jump right in and do a whole transformational overhaul of her life. But if not, that's okay, because I'm telling you this, once you change one area and you master it, everything else will follow. And this is the power of, through self-love and manifesting the life of our dreams, is that it just starts with us. And this is so freeing when you really understand this concept, is that I don't have to force anything outside of me. I don't have to control anything outside of me. I don't have to make things move and be a certain way so that I feel okay, so that I feel good enough. And I know for me, I was a controller. Listen, I grew up in foster care. I had an absent father. My mom and I have a very rocky relationship. I'm an only child. So I learned at a very young age that there was a lot of things out of my control. And so I naturally wanted to control things. I wanted to make sure that I knew what to expect. And if I was in a relationship and I wasn't sure about something, I would force it until I knew the answer, even if it didn't work out in my favor. At least I knew, okay, this is what I have to deal with. I'm done. And I would move on. But I just kept recreating that relationship after relationship. So I understand wanting to control, but wanting to control just really means I feel so out of control inside that I have to control these components outside of me. So it gives me some peace. It gives me some security or some safety. So if this is resonating with you, I want you to get excited for a minute, because I want to give you what is really waiting for you through this journey, is that you will understand all you need to do is start with changing the simple belief from I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy enough to I am good enough, I am worthy enough. And sit with that and see how that feels. And some of you will tell me right now, well, no, it's not true because this happened to me, that happened to me, this person said this to me, that person said that to me. Okay, I get it. I get it, my loves. Trust me. I know that you've been hurt. I know you've probably been through some shit and some trauma in your life. But this is where I want to help you, is that it does not have to control you. The way those people treated you or the way you felt with these circumstances unfolding, whatever way they did, does not define who you are. You define who you are. You get to decide how you want to feel today, what you want to think, and what you want to focus on, and the choices that you make. That is the freedom that we have. That is free will. We all are blessed with that as humans. And this is about empowering yourself to understand that even though I have a history that makes me feel like I'm not good enough, I know with my free will, I can choose to reject that story and start creating a new one that actually supports me and shows me and allows me to feel good enough. And it starts with you planting that seed. And then it starts with you reaffirming that for yourself in your mind, that inner self-talk. Paying attention to the story you're saying to yourself throughout your day, because most of us spin a story that doesn't feel good. It's on autopilot. It's recounting all the old past memories, all the old painful moments, fears and doubts and worries that we have about the future. And we're not even living in the moment. We're living in regret and pain from the past, or we're living in fear and anxiety about what hasn't even happened yet. And in the moment right now, we could decide to take deep breaths, sit for a minute, and say, I am okay. I am good enough. At least right now in this moment, this is the new belief I am working on, that I am good enough. And we can sit with that. And we can just start there, that baby step right there. You don't even have to do more. You don't have to make big decisions right now. You don't have to do an overhaul of your life. You literally just start with that every single day, moment by moment throughout your day. When you can, set a timer. Give yourself, 5 minutes before you get out of bed, play a guided meditation on YouTube for free, play one of these podcasts, right? I have an amazing YouTube channel, by the way, just so you know, where I talk about all this stuff several times a week. And really just taking time to clear your mind, to intentionally focus on statements and messaging that is in alignment of you are good enough. And just by you doing those little acts throughout your day is already showing you in the universe, I am good enough. Because you're making yourself a priority. You're taking time out of your day to love yourself, to value yourself, to bask in the worthiness of who you are. You're not allowing yourself to just do what you've always done if it's not feeling good for you. And this is how we start this beautiful journey. This is the most important belief that we can have, and one of the first practices to start when it comes to changing your life, when it comes to being the best version of you and transforming yourself. Once you get the inside in alignment with how you want to feel and who you are as a person in this world, then the outside has to conform. That's the power of manifestation, law of attraction. That's the common universal law, but we're energy first, matter second. Energy changes matter. Matter does not change energy. So when you are working on what's going on inside of your heart, soul, and mind, your outside will mirror that. It always does. And as little as a couple hours, a couple days, even a couple weeks, you'll start seeing shifts in your reality to reflect the new messaging you're giving yourself, the new energy you're tapping in by not hurting yourself by saying that same old story that I'm not good enough to have this. And by starting the new story and feeling of, you know what? I am good enough to have this. So, listen, if you like what you hear so far, make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. I truly appreciate that. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. So thank you so much for your support. I want you to close your eyes. I'm inviting you, if you're comfortable with this, and close your eyes with me right now and just take a deep breath in through your nose and a deep breath out through your mouth. And just do it again, a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more time, a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to just sit there and in your mind's eye, what would your life look like if you were this secure girl? If you felt good enough to live the life of your dreams? Who is that woman you see? How does she feel? Is she happy? Excited? What is she doing? What is she wearing? Does she look radiant? Does she have a smile on her face? Because this is you. The only thing that's stopping you from not being that version of you is this belief that you're not good enough to have that. And I am here to tell you, my loves, you are so worthy. You are so, so worthy. And all it's going to do is just need you to take a little, convincing to your subconscious mind that you are worthy. And if you practice this every day, visualizing that woman, connecting to how she feels, and throughout your day, reaffirm out loud and inside your mind, I am good enough. I am worthy. I do deserve better. I am getting better, right? Speak it in the present tense and just sit with that and make the decision that, you know what? Enough is enough. I am ready for this. I am ready to call in all these things that I've always wanted for myself. I am no longer going to block myself from it because I am good enough. I am choosing to believe today, right now, this moment, that my new belief is that I am good enough. And if you practice these steps every day, you will start feeling different and seeing some results. I also would love to hear about them. All right, ladies, that is a wrap for the Secure Girl podcast this week. And I truly appreciate you and thank you for joining me this week. So make sure to visit my website at www.kimvelez.com, where you can see all the different ways if you're interested in learning more about me and working with me, as well as subscribing to the show on iTunes or Spotify so you never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you found value in my show, I'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help me out so much. If you like this show, you might want to check out my free private Facebook group. It's called Live a Limitless Life. The link is below. And I pop in there several times a week where I have fun free coaching. And it's just an amazing atmosphere of strong, aligned, like-minded, loving, supportive women. So I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, where we're going to dive in deep about what is self-love and how does it help speed up your manifesting. So I love you and absolutely adore each and every one of you and cannot wait to connect again next week. But for now, I want you to go love on yourself because you deserve it.